myelin, basically what I found out from this book, The Talent Code, is that basically this guy researched all these, what he calls talent hotbeds in the world. So he'd find like anomalous situations where you would never think that a certain area in some remote country, unbeknownst to us, actually is developing a concentrated level of talent, like extreme talent, whether it be like in soccer, it be in chess, it be in some different kind of sport, it be in whatever kind of activity. There's these anomalies of talent. And so he went around the world and went around researchers to investigate, like, what is going on? What is this all about? And basically the conclusion of all his studies and all of his talks with different scientists on this was that they've developed their myelin, or their myelin sheath, more than pretty much the average person. So when you practice something over and over and over, and you do it in repetition and consistency, you're developing myelin, or you're myelinating a certain activity, right? That's another thing about the daily discipline. When you drink your juice every day, you don't have to change anything else. Whatever you're doing, like I said, I'm not here to do the whole, I'm not here to police anybody or any of that nonsense. I'm just here to drop ideas. And if you say, you know what, I'm not going to change anything except I'm going to have one green juice a day. And you make sure in the morning, before you do anything, you have that green juice. You're myelinating. You're starting the process. This is how it starts. You don't change overnight. No. It's no like this whole thing on like you gotta be the Omega Man or the 100% raw fooder, and once you've done that, you've got your black belt. Like you've arrived, right? That's not really the way it works, actually. And you're developing habits. You're building habits over time, and you're stacking habits in your favor. Does that make sense? So what we find out about the brain is actually the more myelin that you create, actually the more protected you are. So when they did autopsies on Albert Einstein, they actually found out that he had an abnormal amount of myelination in his brain. That's interesting to me. When I heard that, I was like, oh, that's a simple way of putting it. Okay, that gave me a lot of confidence. Like, wow. See, it's interesting. I like how science is merging with spirituality. Like the esoteric stuff before was kind of like this thing where you kind of like you do a certain substance or whatever, and you go in the hills and you just kind of astral travel or whatever, and you don't come back for a year. And then there's the other side where it's like religiosity. It's like rigid science, 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 science says so, and we'll see where that's let us pretty much turn the planet into like a toxic dump site. So now what's happening, which is interesting, in the whole turmoil of the whole situation, it's actually, there's a marriage happening where spirituality and science are coming together, right? And I think that to me is the most inspiring thing in the world.
It is.
You guys agree? You guys feel that?
Yeah.
Is no matter how desolate the situation seems, there is always this notion of everlasting hope. If you can have HOPE in your life, then you got it. The biggest breakdown physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, all the above, is the decrease in hope. As soon as that hope is gone, then it's like, why are we here? What are we doing here, right? That's one of the biggest issues actually going on in our world, is that people are in a spiritual crisis. We don't know why we're here, right? We're born into an aberrant situation. Everything's artificial. We're surrounded by kind of like the fake and the phony and the synthetic. And we come into this place where we're in an internal conflict. Right? And I know I was there for a long time, and I know a lot of people I talk to, especially people much senior than myself, have relayed this to me. They're like, man, you're so fortunate to know what you want to do with your life, and I feel that. I feel so blessed to have been given this inspiration, right? And to allow that inspiration to move through me and to channel out into the world. But it's like, man, if we don't have hope, if we don't have inspiration, like daily inspiration, if we're not motivated to use these hands that we have like an artist would, this brush, and stroke and create the painting or the portrait of our own lives and create a testament, then it's like, I don't know. But raw food is so amazing because it taps you back into that. Instantly it taps you back into that. Green vegetable juice, guys, that is the quickest way to from A to Z in this whole puzzle. If you're confused about like where to go with the raw food thing, this person said don't do nuts, and it's like you gotta soak them, you gotta, what do I do here? And it's like, just add in the green juice. And it will intuitively, it will start to activate you. And that's another thing I'm into is activating genius. That's my thing. Activating genius. Because inside of every one of you is the seed of brilliance. But it's up to us to, how is that seed going to sprout? Are we going to nurture it? What are we thinking about all day long, right? Anyone know who Earl Nightingale is? You do? Okay, cool. Earl Nightingale he was basically the guy who kind of pioneered the automobile university phenomenon, which is so cool to me because I could not sit still in ADD. I could not sit still in class, and so I got onto automobile university. Pop the Tony Robbins in my car. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, stop, drill. We gotta do a drill. Okay, come out, and that would be my thing. You know, I'd be programming myself. Well, Earl Nightingale actually pioneered audio tapes and personal development. His big thing was that the strangest secret. This was his thing. Does anyone know what the strangest secret is? Think real hard. What? The strangest secret. He thought that the strangest secret was you are what you think about most of the time, and nobody knows it. That's what his thing is. So you are what you think about, right? We've all heard that. And I was like, man, I was on that for years until I was thinking to myself too much. Like the food thing, it's like, oh God, it's too much. And then I came into the bigger of it, actually. The actual activator, the potentiator of that we weren't told because we were just on some other program. We didn't have the opulent abundance that we do now that's flourishing in our health food world, right? But now we know what the real deal is. You are what you eat. That's actually underneath everything. And I figured out as soon as I tapped into that, it actually affected what I thought. I was like, oh, whoa. Oh, that's what was missing all these years, right? So I was trying, I'm like, doing all this success stuff, I'm trying to get it. And then, but the food, it's like, it was disconnected. But as soon as I tapped back in, cleansed, detoxed, got the stuff out, the oxygen in, I was like, whoa, I can actually see a grander vision of my life. Beyond just being an athlete or being being successful in whatever, this entrepreneurial endeavor, whatever. I saw a scope, a circumference of worldview that I had no idea about, right? And it just exploded out of me, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. All because of that green juice. That's how it started.
So what's your favorite green juice?
My favorite green juice? The one I had today. 120 ounces I had today. Now that's not a normal thing, but I'm just like, you know what? Let's push it a little. What I did today was I did cucumber, celery, ginger, lemon. And so, that's you could throw it out. You could do beet, arugula, spinach, celery, turmeric. Right? You could switch it up. You could have cucumber, celery, ginger, turmeric, lemon, whatever. Yeah, burdock root. Yeah. And what that'll do for you is it'll shift your entire reality. I mean, if you're not ready for a paradigm shift, then get ready. But it's slow. But it's not like But it's not like some of these power plants that I talk about sometimes, and not as a promotion, but as an example, like ayahuasca, for example. That's a known ceremonial medicine, and that's powerful, right? People go over to the Amazon, like hard-nosed business people, right? like just like all business, bottom line. They go over somehow, like someone slips some psilocybin, or they go over to the Amazon, and they meet up with the shamans, like real shamans, right? Not like play shamans in Los Angeles, but like real shamans in the jungle, and they do a ceremony. It's like their whole reality is flipped upside down, all the demons come out, everything, and they deal with it, and they go back, and instead of going back to whatever their business was, they use their money, they use their business intelligence for like environmentally friendly endeavors. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Organic Avenue. Does anyone know that Organic Avenue in New York City? Okay, this is a major raw food restaurant or cafe, right? They have like full-on juice and glass bottles. Like that's their thing, right? The guy who used to run it, Doug Evans, from what I understand, he was like a hard-nosed business guy. Like I think he ran like a printing paper press, like super entrepreneur, right? And David Wolf told this story that, you know, he met up with him, and they went to like Eden Hot Springs, and you know everyone there was like all naked, and they're like doing that thing. And I guess he was just kind of like, you know, the raw food is, yeah, I get that, but you know, I don't know about getting naked in the hot springs. And I guess like the goddess energy or whatever kind of like took over, and he never came back the same. From what I understand, he started using his intelligence and his resources for environmentally sound and health-conscious activities. And I'm seeing this happen more and more all the time, right? And that's the hope thing. Like wherever it's like the worst situation ever, on the other end is a rainbow. You know what the symbol? You know what a rainbow really means, right? It's the everlasting sign of hope.